you hear what I said?
What the hell's going on, freaks? I don't know, I think I have to switch my Wi-Fi and maybe one of the dogs will show up there. I don't know. Who knows? How's it going? All right. Well, how's everybody doing? Yeah. So I did want to say, yesterday when Chicken Wing came in and said that a cousin of hers that that she didn't know well, but it doesn't really even matter. Like, a cousin was murdered. I didn't really react the way I want to be able to. I've just been in a really crappy place, in my mind when I do my shows, and it's nobody's fault really but myself. But I wanted to say that I apologize for not being more like, hey, yeah, I tried to recover during the show and try to look into it, but then we were told we couldn't look into it. So I should have been more, what do you call it, like concerned or whatever the hell it is, and I feel that way. Like, later in the show I was thinking that, but at the time I wasn't. So everybody put out those positive vibes for Chicken Wing. And she did, she told me where, like, it's in West Virginia. Remember that? We said that yesterday. A cousin of hers, and then I spent a few hours trying to look for the audio, the scanner audio, and I think I found the one reference to it. It doesn't continue on or anything, because I think it was like a bigger deal, Yeah, but I remember I was thinking about that. I mean, even at the time, I was like, I don't know. I just, at the moment, I wasn't able to, I was just more concerned about how I'm feeling, I was probably being selfish. I was just like, I'm feeling, I've just been in a weird place on YouTube for a while. So there you go. Well, Randy, that is one of the options out there. Hey, by the way, let's let people have opinions, okay? Like, they can have an opinion in here, as long as they're not disparaging the channel or anything like that. Just let them have crazy opinions and don't respond to them if you think they're weird, okay? I mean, I know I'm the one over the years who's been the one that has, like I don't like just random comments that aren't related. But I think people should be able to, sort of be free to just say what their opinion is, and I might argue with it or whatever, and I might not. Okay, but I think it can stay in the comments. So I want the mods really just kind of only remove comments that are disparaging to the channel or other freaks, things like that, right? See how that goes. What's up, Jimbo? Yeah, sympathetic. There's the term I was looking for. Yeah, I didn't have any sympathetic feelings at the time. But I should have been more like that. I know. It's like, I know what sympathy is. I have many, many cases, and I've gone over it a million different times. Last night just wasn't yesterday wasn't a good day for me anyways, okay? So it was just, I spent all day trying to get a show together, and just wanted to do that. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to, though, Chicken Wing. I'm just telling you, that's how I felt. Like, I felt bad about it. All right, well, let me play this audio right here really quick, though. I think this is the actual scanner audio of the... I think it's the scanner audio of the moment where they're discussing Chicken Wing's cousin. All right. So here we go. I think this is it. Tell me if I got the right one.
Have you responding at 1648. Incident number is going to be 22141, 22141. Have you responding 217 Reed Street, again, 217 Reed. Caller found a male in his 40s in his bedroom, deceased. States there's blood everywhere. We do have law enforcement en route.
And that's all they did right there. I think that's probably it, right? It's in the right town and everything. I mean, what are the odds that there's another... And you must have found out right away, Chicken Wing. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Have you responding at 1648. Incident number is going to be 22141, 22141. Have you responding 217 Reed Street, again, 217 Reed.
And I think it's actually 218 Reed Street.
Have you responding at 1648. Incident number is going to be 22141, 22141. Have you responding 217 Reed Street, again, 217 Reed. Caller found a male in his 40s in his bedroom, deceased. States there's blood everywhere. We do have law enforcement en route.
Okay, and then I think they do some clarification over here.
1649.
Let's see, maybe just a little bit over here. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman.
16, can you give me a public service, please?
Control any available county or state unit. Need response SNS and Blue Whale, SNS and Blue Whale. Caller advised they knew her blue Tacoma was in the parking lot. Had a male inside that appeared and smelled possible DUI. Caller said his friend had him. After he fell, you can smell the alcohol. He was sitting in the truck.
480, Beckley, you can show me 10-8. Clear this no report.
Copy.
258-654, arrive.
1651.
Hey, control, 1042.
I think it might be in here.
131, Beckley, show me 42 off duty.
Copy, have good night. I copy 1042, 1652. I copy 1042, 1652.
Yeah, I just know there's another time where...
Who should I list as primary on this?
they correct the address to 218. I just don't remember where that one was.
Control, we advise EMS to just stay outside of the home for the time being.
Okay, so they're talking about the home right there. So EMS was staged outside. They weren't allowed in. I think they already knew that there was no help.
16 Control, go ahead and send me out here on read, please.
They're staged in the area per law enforcement. Again, staged.
So they're staging the...
10-4 are staged.
10-4.
All right, so there was...
If it's either this right or this one down here.
Right, okay, yeah. So they're trying to find it.
Map showing this one here.
So I think it's right here where...
Control, it's actually going to be 218 read instead of... I think it's 218, maybe it's 219. But it's a house right next door to 217.
All right, so that's... They corrected it to 218. And it's right there. So this is 217, that's 218. I don't know if there's... there's no street view. It's probably uphill or something. Or yes. Man, what a secluded house that is, man. That's crazy. I guess the only way to get there would be over here, right? Man, it's not even like right there. That's crazy. Let me go right there and just look. Yeah, so it's way back up in there. And it's probably like some driveway that you can take. Looks like maybe right over... Yeah, so something like right here. If you drove up that driveway there and turned left, it's back up in there. So, yeah, it's not an easy place to find. You can see why they got kind of confused in there. And then there's two homes right there that share a driveway. I'm wondering if, like, maybe this house here had another house built to rent out or something. Do not know, but man, that's crazy. All right, we got that one. I'm just going to talk about, there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about, like this, and then another one, and then we'll get to the Nancy Guthrie stuff. You know, try to work through it, all right? So just remember, mods, let everybody just sort of say whatever they want to say, as long as they're not disparaging the channel or other people. They can be as ridiculous if they want to, or maybe they actually think what they're saying, okay? There's other channels that don't even moderate it. At least we try to remove people that are, you know, obvious trolls that are in there. Sometimes it's hard to know. But hey guys, if you're watching the channel and you have the ability to help support the channel today, that would be great. You know, the channel relies on the people watching to help support it, and then we are able to, like last night, we gave out $500 to the scholarship fund that we set up on bull.org. And it'd be great to get the support from the people watching. So if you have the ability to, that would be awesome. All right, so there's this incident that occurred at University of Washington. Take a look at that. This stabbing. It's pretty creepy, really. All right, so search for answer continue after UW student stabbed to death. Seattle police are hunting for a suspect, I couldn't find the audio on this one, who killed a 19-year-old transgender student in a laundry room at the Nordheim Courts apartment and off-campus housing complex. Residents reported a similar security breach on April 25th involving a man matching the same description who allegedly broke into a unit with a knife, leading to student frustration over the initial police response. While the suspect remains at large, the university is offering support through its counseling and Q centers, but has declined to confirm if police patrols will be increased in the area. The entire community is grieving. According to the student, a man matching the description of the stabbing suspect broke into their lower level unit through a window. The residents barricaded themselves in a room and called the police. And there's actually, you can see the incident report. It was about 10:20 p.m., almost the exact same time as the murder that happened, the student said, adding that a knife was discovered. I don't think the transgender part of it has anything to do with it. Was discovered at the scene that night. The student said, adding that a knife was discovered at the scene that night. So on April 25th, likely the same individual broke in to another apartment in the same complex there, looked exactly the same, and then left a knife there. Hopefully they can get some DNA off of the first one. While the University of Washington Police Department logged that incident as a burglary, students expressed frustration, claiming that little was done in response to the initial break-in. Seattle police reported that the suspect in Sunday's stabbing was seen loitering in the area prior to the attack. However, few other details have been released. Reading stuff online, you don't know what's real and what's fake. The university has not confirmed if it will increase patrol. So you have that, and then, let's see. Come on. A student at the University of Washington in Seattle was found stabbed to death in a campus housing building. The victim was a 19-year-old transgender woman, was found in a laundry room at 10:10 p.m. Sunday, according to Seattle police. The circumstances leading to the murder are under investigation. Police said officers are actively searching for a suspect, and they described him as a black male with a beard, 5'6" to 5'8", wearing a vest with button-up shirt and blue jeans. The university added that the suspect is believed to be between the ages of 25 and 30, with a slim build and black hair. The University of Washington issued an alert about the homicide at the Nordheim Court apartment at 10:40 p.m. Sunday, saying, if you are at Nordheim Court, stay indoors and lock doors and windows. Around 1 a.m., the university said that the residents no longer need to stay inside. Hold on. I'm just trying to, there's a video here. Oh, my folders are really slow right now for some unknown reason. Don't know. All right, here we go.
Seattle police are still searching for the suspect in a brutal stabbing in off-campus housing that killed a UW student. Officers tell us the 19-year-old transgender woman was killed in the laundry room of the Nordheim Court Apartments. Now tonight, we're learning it's not an isolated crime. Fox 13's Jennifer Dowling is joining us now from there. And Jennifer, you spoke to students who live there who say a recent attempted burglary suspect closely matches the suspect description in this deadly stabbing. What can you tell us?
Those students I talked to said they were terrified. They said on Saturday night, April 25th, they found a man halfway into their apartment. They left their window cracked open on a lower level unit just to let some breeze in. They found him there at around 10:17 that evening.
It's definitely something that was very traumatic.
This student who asked us to protect their identity says when they first heard glasses rattling below the kitchen window in their Nordheim Court apartment on April 25th, they didn't think much of it.
We did hear them and thought it was the cat and ultimately realized it wasn't.
One of the roommates ran into the kitchen and found a man halfway inside the window, the screen pulled out.
My roommate who saw him scream to get out of our house.
They say he backed out and fled while they called 911.
I came running and we all barricaded ourselves in my room at the back of the apartment.
The students say responding officers found a knife, but the man was never caught, and the case was logged as a burglary by the University of Washington Police Department.
There was also nothing done about the situation in general.
So when they heard about last night's deadly stabbing in their apartment, the description of the suspect officers released
2 p.m., almost the exact same time as the murder that happened last night.
They tell me that.
Yeah, so I found these spots. It's right, just like, I think it's right there. Yeah, so this, like that shot, this one right here, I think is right there. See the wind, the color change like that, the square roof, boom, boom. And then also, like, there's this little stairway right there. So if you go down to Street View, right here, you know, I think it was right inside this area right there. And then we have
the person they saw in their apartment closely matches the description of the suspect officers released today. The suspect in the...
And then that was like the reverse angle that they just showed back that direction. So it's right in there. There's a lot, must be a laundry room, maybe like right down. Let's see. It's interesting how they have Street View all the way down here. But maybe that's a laundry room, something like that. And maybe that's where that took place. I can't really see, like, the sign there just says buildings. Don't know. But yeah, it's right inside this area right here. That's pretty creepy. I mean, this they don't think the guy's a student either. And he was there on the 25th. So he's there on the 25th and the 11th. That's pretty weird. I mean, why would you come back to the exact same spot? I mean, I guess it could be targeting one individual, but I mean, I don't think that first time he was there, it's the same place. Yeah. But hey, guys, if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be great. We got to get a good start going here, so that'd be awesome. Yeah, that's what I said, Jason. I just said that. All right, so let's see if I mean, there's other articles, but they all kind of just say the same thing. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's see. Makes me wonder if the victim knew him. Yeah, right. That's what I just said. I said, if you know, I don't know if he knew him, but you know, it doesn't seem like it because the one on the 25th was a different date. Yeah, let's see. All right. Anyways, let's get on to the. Well, I'll keep looking for updates on this. It's pretty crazy. I mean, that's just sort of a random. You know, they might know the person, but I don't know. You know, I think it could just be totally random that they're transgender. But the fact that they were there on the 25th in a different apartment, kind of sneaking through a window, kind of makes you wonder. You know, it sounds like it's just somebody, a psycho, like it was going to kill others. But you never know. I guess we'll have to find out. All right. So we're going to talk about the motive in the Nancy Guthrie case, what people think. I just want to get the surveillance footage out again. I was talking about something else, so it's not on the screen. Hey, thanks Jeffrey Siddall. And thanks to Alley Kick and Jim Lon up there. Come on. Things are really slow for some reason. I even rebooted. It's crazy. All right. Open up, open up, open up. Okay, there you go. So, you know, like the motive in the case is that would be kind of like the key thing to know, right? I mean, that's when you're going to know, you'll be able to sort of focus in on something. But I guess if it's just like a ransom, you know, so how about, let's just go over each one at a time. So do you think it's a financial motive? At some point, like that's what the original motive was financial even. What do you guys think of that? Alright, let's put that in there. Thanks, Michelle H. Alright, let's see. I just put a poll in there. You guys can... I mean, you know, financial seems kind of like the most obvious. Somewhere down the line, it's financial, right? Even if it's a ransom that went wrong, or it's a, you know, for some other, maybe they were a hit person for somebody else and they made it look like a ransom. It seems like most people think it's financial. Right? Let's see, we got 61% said yes. And I mean, the thing is, the reason I have sexual in there is because there are people who do that. That is one of the possible motives that were in there. I mean, I guess the interesting part is it related to, you know, if it is, the ransom notes that the FBI believed were real, I mean, that makes it sort of interesting. Because, I mean, why would you be doing that? I guess, you know, if it was a ransom that went wrong, you would do, you know, she died before you were able to prove that she was alive, and then maybe they tried to get a ransom anyways at first, and then when they realized that they couldn't prove that she was alive, they just totally jumped ship and, you know, sort of, at that point, maybe even buried her body somewhere and just said, man, we got to get out of here because now it's a murder. Because it's, if she died in the commission of a felony, then it's felony murder. So most people say financial. The only reason I can think of that someone wanted her money. Yeah, but the FBI thinks they're real, Duck Pam. So don't you give a little bit of deference to them when they say that? And Nancy Guthrie, or Savannah Guthrie, has said that she thinks those are real, and the reason she thinks they're real is because the FBI thinks they're real. Now, I don't know if they've changed their mind, but they definitely thought that they were legit early on, and they didn't seem to persuade Savannah later that they weren't real. You know, but at the same time, if they are real, why would he contact the TMZ? Like, why would you do that? I mean, what's the point of that? Right? I think the notes were real, but it was only to mess with them. Yeah, I mean, it could have been to mess with them because it was on TMZ. So they knew she wasn't alive. But if they're just doing that to mess with them, then that's not a financial motive, right? That means there was never a financial motive if the ransom letters were only there to mess with Savannah, right? That means that is not a financial motive. That means it's the other, you know, the something else. You know, if you're looking at on the the thumbnail, these things right here. Financial, sexual, personal, or something else. Now, it could be personal is something else, right? I mean, let's see. Nancy Guthrie's finance. Well, so let me just end this one. Yeah. All right, let's see. Also, all the freaks condolence. Yeah, okay. Jeez. All right, so most people said that financial, right? But then I guess the next one would be, you know, there is a possibility of the, like, if it was a sexual motive, that doesn't seem very likely, but, you know, there's always a possibility of something. That's like the least possible likely one now. You know, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. I don't really understand why you would, you know, I guess that would explain why you had to take her out of the house, though. See? So if it was a sexual motive and he was in there, because he was in the house for, let's say, you know, he gets in there at 2:12 and he leaves at 2, what was it, 27, I think it was. Hold on, I got to get the numbers. I got it right here. My brain just, it might have been 2:28, actually. Yeah. So any chance you can not do those ones, those comments again, Jim? I mean, they're just like, man, we just talked about them. Let's see, disappearance of, I think this is it right here. Yeah, 2:28. So let's say he gets in the house at 2:12, and then in between 2:12 and 2:28, he does something, and he doesn't want to leave her there because he left his DNA. So he takes her. And then, but then what's the point of ransom letters? See, wouldn't it be great to know for certain if the ransom letters being true or not is like a big deal? I mean, we could look at it also like, what if, just throw the ransom letters out. Like, if they aren't related to anything at all, then what we have here is a case where somebody went in, intentionally removed Nancy Guthrie from the home, but it actually then opens the door to something else. You know, that the sexual assault angle is open more in that scenario, because then it's just like, you know, those ransom notes aren't from the person. They removed her to not leave DNA in the house, and it was just sort of God, I don't know, man. it's really strange. That's why this case is so interesting, because there's always something. I think we can all agree that there always is something that when you're talking about something, there's always something in your mind that sort of is a roadblock, right? We've all seen that like a million times. And it's like, you go like this, okay. So you're trying to work through it, and you say something like, all right, it's a ransom that went wrong. Okay, so they go in there, they abduct her, they're absolutely going to take her out. You know, something happened where she's bleeding a little bit when they're going out the door, and then she's put in the car and driven away, and then she dies somewhere, and then they want to maybe still try to get a ransom without having to prove life, and then they sent the ransom letters to TMZ. Well, what the hell did you do that? See, the TMZ ransom letters, if that was them, because that was the first two, those are the ones that law enforcement's talking about. Why would you do that? Why would you send these letters to TMZ? Doesn't make any sense. TMZ is where you want to send it if you just want to be like, you know, have it be a big story. Now, why would you want to draw attention? Maybe, you know, the person was, I guess, possible part of a group of, you know, other people like, look, see, I just wanted to prove to you that I did this. But then that's stupid, because then there'd be way more people that knew about it and would probably already be known. So that doesn't make sense either. You know, I created these on using ChatGPT. What do you? I think these are pretty crazy. I think this is almost exactly what it would have looked like. Look at that. If for example, there was a camera when she was being removed. I think it was kind of like this. See that right there? I think that's exactly what it would have looked like. Going through the arch, she's bent over. Probably more like this when she coughed. I think she's a little bit smaller than this. But I think that's what it would have looked like. And this one I said, hey, try to put a car there. So they backed it in right at the end of the steps. I don't know if that one worked. And they put these weird city lights in the background. I don't know about that. Yeah, but, you know, I'm not sure what they're doing down here with the feet, with the... but, you know, I think it looked kind of like that. Don't you? Yeah, like kind of like this, you know, like she was walked down the path. Now I think she's a hell of a lot smaller than this. This guy, like their waists are the same, and that wouldn't be what it was. Yeah, I had another one too, like this one. You know, like maybe there was a certain point where she's kind of like this. You know, being walked down the path. Thanks, Alley Cake. All right, freaks. Any chance you guys could help support the channel tonight? Definitely could use a challenge. And I'll tell you what, if you're whoever does the challenge, you get 5 chances. At a, like let's say you do a 5 for 5er, you get 5 chances of winning a notebook, and then each individual who joins in, you know, to match it, gets 1. Or like if you do 2, you get 2. You know, like if you send in $10, then you would get 2 different spins. All right, so let's see if we can do that. Yeah, I mean, this, obviously, it's not perfect. It's just, I said, hey, ChatGPT, take this background. I gave him a picture of Nancy Guthrie, and I said, make somebody that sort of looks like her, that this same character is carrying, you know, sort of bringing her out the door. It wasn't able to make one right next to the camera, though. That didn't work. But I thought it did a pretty good job. I mean, I think this is what it looked like. Let's see, like this one. See, this is kind of how I picture near the door. She's coughing. I kind of bent over and then coughed. You know, maybe even kind of like that too, you know. I think that one's pretty good. But I think that's likely exactly what it looked like when she was being removed from the home. Now, as I've said many times, the only reason that the camera was removed, that was because there was a car that was going to be parked right there. Now, I don't think this is how the car was parked. I said, hey, put a car in the scene. You know, I don't think they backed it in. I mean, it's possible, though. I mean, there's a trunk there. I mean, maybe that's how it went. But I think it was more sideways. It doesn't seem like there's a great opportunity for like it'd be hard to kind of back it in. I guess, I mean, you could. It just seems sort of awkward. Where you could just drive around and then pull there, and then your back of your car is just at a slight angle. Right there. All right. So, anyways, what do you guys think of the, I think those images were pretty good. You know, it was a good representation. So I don't think there's a really good high chance of a sexual motive, but if the ransom letters are not real, then that is a little more likely. Not a lot, but it definitely raises it. I don't understand if it was a sexual motive. There doesn't seem like there'd be any reason at all to send in ransom letters. If it was a personal motive, now what do you guys think of that? That it was personal. All right, there you go. All right, any chance you guys want to do the a challenge out there? I want to do the spins a little bit later. Yeah, sure, Jeffrey. We said that. Yeah, right. Ransom could all be fake. Yep. We just don't know. All right, so people are saying yes, but then you all said the same percentage said yes, that it was a financial motive. So I mean, personal financial motive. So when you say it's personal, what do you mean by that? Yeah. What do you guys mean by that? I don't know. It's just personal. It's up to you to figure out why you think it's personal. I think most people, when they think it's personal in this case, are referring to something regarding Savannah. Yeah. Right? Okay, so when you say both, what would be the both part of it? So somebody goes, they hate her, so abduct Nancy to kill her. They hate Savannah, so they abduct Nancy to kill her and then want to ransom too. I don't know. I don't think I think they knew when she was dead that without proof of life, people don't send in ransom. So to me, they might have tried right at the beginning, and I don't know. Yeah, most people when they say personal are talking about they're talking about Savannah, not Nancy. Why would anybody have a personal problem against Nancy? That doesn't make any sense. Now, I mean, if you want to say that somebody killed her for, what people were talking about at the beginning, some sort of a payout, like inheritance of some sort, but it seems like they've kind of ruled out stuff like that. Could have pissed someone off. I don't know, man. I don't believe that. Nancy didn't piss anybody off. She's just some lady living somewhat alone in a home with family members around that would, I don't think she pissed anybody off. How could Nancy Guthrie piss somebody off so much that somebody killed her? It just seems kind of... Anything's possible, though, I guess. Yeah, but, I don't know. People don't kill somebody... Look at... I mean... so she would be more of a Democrat, right? I mean, I wouldn't think... It would be the other way around. If she was a Republican, then the anger that a Democrat would feel might lead to a death. Okay, but if she had like liberal thoughts, Republican conservative person isn't going to kill her. You know, so I don't know how that would work in there. What are you talking about, Sandy? Because Nancy was hell on wheels. She was supposed to live to be tormented. That was all the ransom notes were. What? Maybe it was a jewelry heist gone wrong. Personal toward Savannah and glean to loot to boot. Get money to boot. Yeah, but I mean, if it's how are they going to get money when she died? So you're saying it was personal towards Nancy. But if it was personal towards Nancy, I don't think they were ever going to want to give personal towards Savannah. I don't think you were ever going to give Nancy back. Because as soon as you give her back, then everything's great again. Doesn't make sense. And then if it was personal towards Savannah and you abduct Nancy for a ransom, then then something just must have gone wrong, and then you maybe tried to get it, but then you couldn't. But hey guys, any chance you guys could help support the channel tonight? We are currently at 1/10 of a nightly goal. So if you guys have the ability, that would be fantastic. Like I said, if somebody does a challenge, you get to 5 chances at a spin, and then each individual who does the matching gets a chance at the spin for the notebook at the end. All right, then so you got the personal motive, and then something else. What are the other reasons that might be out there? What do you think? What is the something else? It's just hard to come up with something. Like, why would you take somebody out of the house? They went there to take Nancy Guthrie out of the home. Don't you guys agree with that? And that's why they removed the camera. Okay? Why would they care? Otherwise, they're completely covered head to toe and probably clothes they never wore before. They wouldn't have cared to remove that camera. They only cared because they knew that a car was going to be parked at the end of that driveway. And that was the way they were going to get her out of that home. That's what you think, Lynn? I don't know. You missed the poll question. I don't believe any of that. Oh, come on, Sandy. Where are you getting her emails to workers and stuff? You guys are crazy, man. Jesus. Who are these people? Hey, these are her emails to her workers, and then they're so angry they went and killed her. No, I'm not going to research that. You can go ahead and spend your time researching it. I'm not doing it. And you didn't research anything, Sandy. Just tell the truth there. You didn't research a damn thing. You watched somebody that made a video on it. That's how you got the information. You didn't go digging around, cyber sleuthing into her, her emails and somehow got her password and got in there. Come on. No way. She fought back too much and porch chumps temper. I don't know. I mean, she's bleeding. It's not a lot of blood, but it is some. You know, it's significant. It's not like a ridiculous amount. Why did that comment get removed? Jeffrey Siddall said she fought back too much and porch chump's temper did her in. Yeah, I'm not going to dig into like an email somebody sent. You got to be kidding me. Hey, let's look into Nancy Guthrie's emails with her coworker, the people that work around her home. Yeah, who would get that money though, Jason? The Social Security income. Who would get it? I mean, she doesn't have a husband anymore, so if she died, the Social Security wouldn't go to anybody. Right? No, I do. I dig into all kinds of stuff, chicken wings. I'm not going to dig. I mean, you can't dig into... it must have been coworkers that shared their own emails. I mean, there's no way anybody in the public out here has emails from Nancy Guthrie that they went and sleuthed out by digging through her email. There's no way. No, you didn't, Sandy. Just come on, Sandy. You're not some super sleuth that's out there digging around into emails, etc., etc. I know that was probably in somebody's video that you watched, and now you're an expert on it. Let's see. Jason Bourne, no conservative. Yeah, right. I said not email. What does that mean? I said not emails. Right. Yeah, I think the person knew exactly what they were doing. And that's why they haven't been caught yet. Oh, God. You guys are talking about when she was a state employee years ago? That somehow somebody was angry at a review and came back? I don't buy it, man. I'm sorry. You know, if you can prove something to me somewhere where, you know, she was so vicious to so many employees that there was this, like, somebody was angry enough to take her out and kill her. I just don't believe it. I mean, anything's possible, you know. Can't rule it out. You know, alien abduction's possible too. We just, you know, don't know at this point. Huh? You belong to a couple? I don't even know what you're talking about, Sandy. Nobody called you a liar. You did, though, just now. You called yourself one because nobody said that. You did. I wonder where this guy is now and what he's thinking. Probably like Richard Allen. He can't believe he hasn't been caught. Yeah. I think, I mean, he must have known that being in that neighborhood, there's just not a very good chance that he's going to be filmed. Yeah, they're fine. Why do you ask, DeBlanco? Can you see them? They're just eating, you know, chewing on toys. They always come and get us to get put back in there so they can just have their own little den, you know. They were outside all day. Are you okay? Just curious. Let's see. It's a nut. Yeah, maybe. All right, so people are saying it's a personal problem because she was mean to her employees at some point. I don't know. Guy is now what he's thinking. You kept saying emails to employees. Okay, well, there was something above up there. You said something like that. No, they wouldn't. There isn't any conservative that would have killed Nancy Guthrie for her political beliefs. There isn't one that would do it. Nobody would care. It's just the truth. Okay? Now, if you're a conservative, you're considered such a abhorrent person by a lot of liberals out there that, yes, I can see the rage happening. But it turns out it's the exact opposite. All right? It has nothing to do with that. That's an absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion, theory that it's somehow related to her political beliefs and somebody killed her because of it. That just is an 84-year-old. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But hey, you know, anything's possible. I'm not chicken wing. I'm not angry at all. I just don't agree at all. I don't think it's, you know, there was any researching going on. I think it just shows up in groups and people believe what they say. Mm-hmm. You did? Let's see. Man, I can't find it. I don't remember where that was. It's hard to find. Everything's scrolled up past where I can go. Nowadays, anything is possible with how crazy people are, and no one has self-control. Yeah, that's right. But hey, guys, we're still at 10% of the nightly goal, so is there any chance you could help support the channel and get the ball rolling here? We're already an hour into the show. Let's see. But a psycho... I don't know, Sandy, I just don't agree with you on the case. You're not going to convince me. You'll see at the end, it won't be what you're saying. All right, let's see. Nowadays, anything is possible. It's planned crime of opportunity for money, but someone who knew she lived alone and her movements. Yeah, I mean, some people think maybe it was a worker that was around there. It just seems... You know, I mean, that whole thing, remember when she fired somebody? You know, I guess we looked into that, where she fired somebody and then that person, maybe they were angry. You know, we checked into that. Y'all look things up. Right. Let's see. Not about money. They took nothing plus... no way you can collect a ransom without getting caught. Right. The gas station. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. There was something about the gas station over there. That was off of, I think it was right over here. Right there. The Circle K, right? This one? Yeah, there's something about a vehicle there. Yeah, I think law enforcement's just absolutely stumped. I think that they think that they never could definitely say that they left the area. See that? Well, I can tell you that there isn't anything like that, Sandy. If you'd had that, you would have shared it a long time ago and said, "Hey, look at these comments she was making." You didn't do that, so I just don't believe you. All right. Let's see. I do still think that. I do still think it's weird that they didn't take anything from the house because that's extra money, but it's risky, I guess. Well, we don't know if they took anything or not, right? Nobody really knows if they did or didn't take anything, right? I think it is going to be, it would have looked just like that, I think. And there would be a car right there down the side of the street. Let's see. I think they went there, as I've said before. Wow, hallelujah. Hey, thanks, Soundbird. Thank you so much. Got to turn this off. I think I'm going to open up the lines in a minute. But before we do that, let's go over some of the... You know what I thought would be cool is go over the wiki now, because who knows, man? That thing is... That's probably old at this point. And filled with... Wait, what's this one? It said, Nancy Guthrie sheriff scolded county official for sharing tip with FBI. She claims in an interview. An Arizona County assessor says she was scolded by the sheriff overseeing the search for Nancy Guthrie after her office sent a tip about the case to the FBI. Guthrie is the 80... Oh, so he was angry about that. It was inferred that we were creating a lot of additional work for the sheriff's department due to us providing this information to the FBI and then having the responsibility to follow up all of those leads that were provided, she told the paper. It seemed like he was stressed, very frustrated. Drubby told the paper. I wouldn't categorize it as yelling per se, as much as kind of scolding and expressing frustration with all of the leads he had received, their obligation to follow up on them, and that my office was actually being more harm than good by providing more leads that they just had to follow up on. I don't know. You know, I got to tell you, I mean, this is what people are talking about these days, but I don't give two craps about Sheriff Nanos, okay? He has nothing to do with the murder, right? He's just not capable. He's not very good. It just is absolutely irrelevant to anything at this point. Every time I talk about Nanos, I just start going, why am I talking about this guy? Who cares? You know, it doesn't help anything. Nobody's going to figure something out by saying, hey, Nanos sucked. Tired of hearing about the sheriff. Yeah, who cares? What are you guys complaining about? No, that's stupid. Sandy, you're not telling the truth at all. That's not why you didn't tell me. I just don't believe you, okay? You didn't tell me because it's not there. There's nothing that you wouldn't go, "Hey, Gray, look at these weird comments." I wouldn't. I would just listen to them. You know, it's ridiculous. I would absolutely look at something like that if you sent it to me. You know, because it would be related. I'd go, wow, that's sort of interesting. So you saying that is ridiculous, all right? It's not true. I know, it doesn't seem like her. I don't know, maybe she's having a bad day. Just like we all do, you know? But anyways, yeah, I don't really give a shit about the sheriff at all. I mean, to say that you didn't send it to me because you knew how I would react, that's ridiculous, okay? Absolutely ridiculous. Right, anyways, a let's see. I don't know. I'm not even sure. So we have the timeline right here. Maybe we'll go over this later. Maybe I'll do the call first if you guys want to do it or not. If not, we'll just end the show. I'm just tired. It says Nancy Guthrie takes an Uber taxi to her daughter Annie's home for dinner. Didn't I edit some of these at one point? And that says Guthrie is dropped off by her son-in-law, Annie's husband, Tommaso Cioni, at 9:48. So he must have left at 9:38 and then dropped her off at 9:48. And then they know that because the garage door opened, and somehow the garage door, maybe the camera picked it up opening and closing, or there's some digital something related to the garage door opening. I don't know. And so that's 9:48 opening and then 9:50 closing. So I'll show you this picture here. It's really pretty clear. You can see it right here. So imagine the garage door opens. Tommaso walks Nancy right over to this door. Opens the door. Nancy goes in. Then he comes back out. I guess there's like a button around the corner here. And then the garage door shuts. Right? Now from that location, there is so you're looking at the door. Amazingly, on this one Google Earth, the door is open. The garage door is even open. But there's a camera right here. So is that what they were able to detect motion on that camera? Or was I actually think it's something in like inside here connected to the garage door opener. That's what I think. Yeah, who's talking about Sandy? Yeah, don't talk about Sandy. No, you know what, guys? I'm going to get out of here. Are we going to just do this again? Nobody beat up on Sandy. Sandy was just making these comments, just whole cloth, like, oh my God, hey, oh my God, she was really mean and just saying these kind of things and these kind of things. And I was like, where is that? You've never shared that with me at all. And then she said she researched it all up, and I don't believe that she was literally digging around and trying to, and whatever. It doesn't really matter, okay? And then she said that I wouldn't be able to, I would react a certain way if she'd sent it to me. That's not true. It's not true at all. People send me stuff all the time and stuff that's absurd, and I'll look at it and I'll tell them what I think, right? But you didn't share it, so that's the truth. Oh my God! Hey, Chicken Wing, can you just drop it, please? Please, you guys, you're going overboard here. Jesus, it's unreal, man. It's like it's crazy. So anyways, you got the 9:50, the garage door shuts. And then that's it. Like, she goes into her house, Tommaso goes home, and then probably, she probably goes to sleep, gets into bed, let's just say 11 at the latest, and then her heart monitor's connected to the internal machine, and then she goes to sleep. And then, probably 2 hours at least into her sleep, somebody shows up at the front door, but she's not awake or anything. She's asleep, and she doesn't have very good hearing. At 1:47, the individual removes the front doorbell camera because that camera would film a car if it was pulled up in the front. And then let's see, what I think is at 1:47, they walked away for 20 minutes or so to make sure that nobody showed up based on the removal and being being seen on camera, sending out a notification or something. So they waited for 20 minutes or so, and then they go back at 2:07 or 2:08, and they go to the house. Then they walk around the back of the home and climb over the fence, and then at 2:12, a camera in the backyard picks up motion, and that's around the time they start entering into the home. Now, is there a second person maybe driving the vehicle that later, when he says, "Hey, I'm ready to come out," they park the car there? I don't know. It's possible. I think that's definitely possible. You saw a show? Oh yeah, I seen a show. Oh, you saw a show revealing what the pacemaker had on the computer. Well, they wouldn't know what it had on the computer. They can just tell you how it works. So there's a machine in the house that is sort of like Bluetooth connected to the pacemaker, and then there's an app on a cell phone. So at 2:12, motion was detected. And the FBI released footage recovered from Google Nest. And then at 2:28, Guthrie's bedside pacemaker monitor misses its scheduled transmission, they say. So, but the app, I guess, apparently, that's not what the wording is on the official release at the press conference. It doesn't say that. But it shows that her pacemaker is not connected to the monitor at 2:28, which means she's more than 10 or 30 feet away from the monitor at 2:28. So if the person is in the backyard at 2:12, then there's less time inside the home. I don't think they would have gone right inside the home right after removing the camera. That would be absolutely really dangerous to do, I think. Very dangerous. Let's see. Hey, look at that. It's Zozo after a million years. How's it going? I don't need a link. Nosy Google. I don't want it. I already know how it works and everything. And it's not that. All you have to know is just at 2:28 it stopped connecting to the device. That's all you got to know. There isn't anything else you need to know. And so that means between 2:12 and 2:28 that it's very possible. Well, it's not very possible. It is 100% likely that they know exactly what time a person encountered Nancy inside that home, as her pacemaker and monitor would just be shooting out, just going out of control. It would go nuts, right? So that probably about, let's just say at between 2:12 and 2:28, so maybe like 2:15 or 16 or something like that. her pacemaker, and it probably never got any better. It was probably pretty erratic until she got too far away from the monitor. Then it stopped, which was 228, and it stopped sending a signal. But I think that's right around the time that she's being taken out the front door and put into her vehicle. Or not her vehicle, put into a vehicle that was parked there, and that's the reason they removed the camera at the front door. Yeah, it doesn't... Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Nosy Google. I already know that. We already know that. We've been talking about that for a long time. That they know exactly when the person encountered her in that house. Right? We've mentioned that many times. Ding 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 ding. You know what that is? Let's see. Sounds like... Yeah, it is Ice Ice Baby. But hey, guys, any chance you could help support the channel tonight? We are just at 1/10 of the goal still. Just kind of lingering around. We need to get some challenges going. Like I said, we'll do the gifted notebook out of those. What do you mean ducks? I don't know what that means. Pork chop. In a couple of years, ducks. What do you mean ducks? Like Oregon, the University of Oregon? Hey, Zozo. My theory, I don't really have one that's like just like, oh yeah, this is what I think happened. I'm usually when I have a theory, it's going to be what happened. This is one of those ones where I don't really have a great. If I was just gonna, let's just see. So somebody went to the home to abduct Nancy Guthrie. That's why they were there. That's the only reason they went to the house. And they put the car in the front, and that's the only reason they removed the camera, because it was going to be parked right where the camera could see it. And it was going to drive by there. So they removed the camera for that. So that means they were going to take her. And then they take her, and then she disappears. Now, it really matters if you don't have the ransom notes, and those aren't real, then we don't really know, okay? Like, we don't know if, I mean, if the ransom notes are real, then you kind of go down a different route, that it was a ransom that went wrong. That was kind of like my main theory, I guess, is that it was a ransom that went wrong. They originally tried to still get money, but then realized, man, if we keep communicating, they're going to catch us, and we are going to have a murder charge and probably get the death penalty. And so then they just washed their hands of it, probably, you know, as crude as it sounds, maybe buried her body somewhere in a desert, and just, that was it. You know. Now, those aren't real ransom letters. Then they just abducted her, killed her, and we don't know what... There was nothing after that. I mean, that's the thing, is like, I hope the ransom letters or something. Because if it isn't, then that means she was killed, and they just disappeared. And there was no other, like you could say, well, was it a hired hit for perhaps, inheritance? Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense either, because you have to have a body to have that. It's crazy. It's wild stuff, Yeah, Jim Lon writes fake ransom notes in his spare time. He does have long hair. He's a long-haired Chihuahua. You know what's weird about long-haired Chihuahuas? They don't feel the same. I mean, not just because of the hair. You know how, like, Blue and Clancy are really sturdy, short-haired Chihuahua? And Benny's like a cat. You pick him up and he's sort of lanky, They don't have the same, they're not sturdy the same way. It's almost like they're a different dog, completely different breed and everything. Strange. I'm not even sure why you call them, like, it just seems like they're totally different. All right, who's going to do a challenge for us tonight? Need to get one of those going. Any long-time freaks want to do a challenge? That'd be great. Yeah, he's a long-haired Chihuahua, but he's lanky. I've never, most of the time Chihuahuas are sort of like Blue and Clancy. Hey, are you still out there, Jason Bourne? I know, I see how you disappeared. Yeah. All right, let's try to do it. Why don't you guys call in with your ideas and thoughts on the motive, okay? Here we go. We're going to have the call-ins for the motive. It isn't a ransom thing. Yeah, well, I mean, if those aren't real ransom notes, then, I mean, even then, see, my thing is, I think it's possible, too, that it was a ransom that was a ruse after the fact. Like, you really took her to kill her, but then you made it look like it was a ransom just to throw people off and look in a different direction. And that was about it. So we're looking for the, maybe get a phone call in here. Let's see if it works. But anybody out there with any ideas, just call it in. You can say whatever the hell you want. No big deal. There's 4 dogs. Chloe's a little tiny 3-pound white little fluffy dog. Or scraggly looking, really. And then Benny and Clancy are like 5 pounds, and then Gracie's like 8 or 9 or 10 or something like that. Anyway. Well, we're waiting for the phone calls, you guys. But hey, guys, right now, tonight, we're at 1/8 of the nightly goal. So is there any chance you guys could help support the channel tonight? So it feels like we're doing something. I mean, this is, I mean, it's so strange. We have a night like this, and then we had yesterday, but last night I donated $500, so I was, you know, the channel didn't make any money. And now we're doing a show tonight, and we are absolutely just terrible again.
Call from
Timothy Cecil.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press...
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, look at that, it
Timothy
works.
Cecil. Yeah, it works. Yeah, I mean, I just, we're still kind of at the same point with this case that we've been at for, well, months, really. I don't, like, I've watched some of the other shows and stuff, and some of the theories are wild, man. Like, I don't think that she was abducted because she pissed off some employees. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if people want to think that. It's just, I mean,
no,
I just don't
okay.
know. I don't know where it just seems like such a huge, I mean, I guess if it was somebody like working in the yard or worked at her house and she fired them and they got really pissed off and, you know, but then wouldn't they want to like steal money or something too instead of just kill her? It just seems kind of...
Right, because you feel like you were getting like, because you're taking your job away, so you feel like, oh, they're taking away my income. Let me just rob her then to get like some of the money back, you know, like type thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like you would do. I don't know. I don't know where people are coming up with these specific theories, though. I mean, where's that information at? I don't know, you know.
I have no idea either. Apparently, they don't send it to me because of the way I would react if I got it. Yeah, I've never seen it. Yeah, I people send me crazy shit, and I have dialogues with them. Okay, you know, zooming in on something, and I go, yeah, no, it's not. You know, if it's something that looks kind of legit, I will take a look at it. You know, people send me stuff. I've never heard anybody say, well, I have all this really great information, Gray, but I'm not going to send it to you because you might react a certain way. I mean, that's insane, yeah. Man. I'm just, that doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Right. I'm just wondering where people are coming up with these specific theories because I haven't seen any of that. I've just seen where people think it was like I've heard of the cartel one. Then that lady was saying that stuff yesterday about like how she thinks it was like a burglary gone wrong. That doesn't make sense though because we don't know that anything.
Yeah, burglary gone wrong is just I think is almost the least likely situation of the entire case. It doesn't. I mean, like if you were just going to go and you were going to guess at something, that would be the least likely because it's like, okay, let's see, you go into the house, you went in there wrong, and something went wrong, and
but then why would you take her out? Like if you were doing a burglary,
you're not going to take her out of the home.
The place.
That's the whole point. Is like you're not taking her out of the home if something went wrong because you had a balaclava on, you had gloves, all this stuff. She doesn't know who the hell you are.
You just leave. You just leave in the car.
Yeah, you just take off.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That's the least likely what I think. I think it's. I don't know, man. This case is very weird, but I think it's my most likely theory is that I don't even know at this point, man. I thought it was a ransom gone wrong, but then I kind of feel like the ransom was just a red hair. I don't know.
Yeah.
It almost feels like there's a personal motive maybe that we don't know about. And that's why we don't have, like, that's why no one's come up with a theory that's like, oh yeah, everything fits, you know? Because maybe it's like a personal motive that nobody knows about, though.
Well, so the thing is the ransom gone wrong, abduction for ransom gone wrong, fits everything except that you sent it to TMZ. Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
That's almost like a publicity, like, what do you call that? Like a publicity type of, like, thing where you're, like, misdirecting, like, cause, like, it's, like, overkill on the ransom, you know? Like, hey, we're doing a ransom type thing. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I don't think it was I don't know, man. This case is, it's so frustrating. Because you just don't know. There's like two theories that make sense, but then not everything fits, you know? It's either the ransom gone wrong or it's like a personal thing, but then what was the motive? I don't know.
I think that's why it's so important that if somehow somebody could finally clarify if the, proved that the ransom attempts, the first two that the FBI seems to, what is he eating down there? Those first two, that they're legit. You know, because once you know that those are legit, then, okay, then you can sort of theorize a little bit more accurately. Because if those are not legit. So here's the thing. If we just throw out the 2 ransom notes, that early ransom letters, then we have a case where somebody goes into a house, abducts a person intentionally, and then disappears, and we never hear from her, Nancy, or the abductors ever again. Right? That's why you almost hope that those are 2 ransom notes.
Right, because then the case is even more difficult to solve, if that's even possible.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not legitimate, right? That's kind of what you're saying, right? Because, like, it would be even more difficult to solve because then you have even less motive, like, that we know of, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, but we've also talked about maybe it's something like, you know how arsonists, they set a fire and then they go and watch it and then they read all the newspaper articles about it, all that stuff. I mean, that could be what this is, too, right? I mean, we've talked about this.
We've seen that pattern before in, like, other crimes, like the Zodiac and other people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this guy just did this and is just out there going, oh, man, I'll be really famous. Maybe he is. There's this, I don't know. I mean, you almost think that there's this little, like, 2 or 3 group somewhere deep, dark, you know, going, hey, let's do this and let's see what they'll say. And, you know, hey, and then maybe if there were ransom letters, those were just from them again, and they knew how to do it where it can't be traced. And they were just playing part of the same game, you know, put it on TMZ. Right. TMZ's talking about it, and they're like, we got them to read it. Yeah, that's great. Well, they didn't read it yet because they've talked about it. That's amazing. All right. So that actually makes sense. A lot of sense. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That theory makes a hell of a lot of sense because it sort of then explains some of the crazy stuff, you know.
Yes. And like I said, it's substantiated by other cases. We've seen people that literally do that, like other killers and stuff. They've done that stuff just because they want to get a kick out of it, you know. So that actually does make sense. I didn't think about that before, but yeah.
Now we talked about that.
I mean, that would make sense. Yeah.
Like early on it was just one of the things, you know, like a passing thing. Like if he is a psycho, like you know, almost a serial killer type person who just goes in there and it's all about the game, then maybe that's what this person's doing. And then it sort of explains everything, really.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like everything, yeah. Yep.
So,
oh, yeah.
Maybe
that's
actually
the theory.
Good. Yeah. Maybe that's the number one theory then, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that does explain everything. And like I said, it's substantiated by other, like we've seen people do that, so it's not like that much of a reach. So.
That's right.
Well, yeah, man. We'll see what happens. Hopefully some more people call in, man. So.
Yeah, hopefully.
We'll see what happens.
You just never know. All right. All right, thanks. There we go.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, there we go. We got Timothy Cecil calling in. Hey, thanks, Joy. Really appreciate that. Means a lot. Thank you. Nanos knows who did this. I don't think so at all. Is that what they're saying over on that channel that you watch, Joy? Nanos knows who did this. He's involved. Okay. I mean, maybe that's why he's got that $100,000 car that he's got, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but hey, Lisa, just let him have those thoughts, okay? That's what I was saying, remember, earlier in the show. Like, just let people, you know, just ask them, why do you think that? Oh, yeah, there you go, Joy. Hey, why do you think that, Joy? Why don't you call in and tell us your theory. Huh? Nanos knows who Deb is. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're Deb. No, they didn't mention it. What? I think I'm only Tim here. Yeah. I'm waiting for people to call in. It's going to be a short show. I'm not sure what makes tonight different than yesterday, though, you guys. We need to get the support for the channel going. We are at 1/8 of the nightly goal. And we have had 0 challenges tonight. So it'd be great to have at least one, then I can put your guys' names up into a spin for a notebook.
Call from
Jason Bourne.
To accept, press 1. To send.
All right. There you are.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Good, it could be better, but you know, I don't know. It's always a struggle. Always a struggle on here every night.
Well, I've been listening, that's for sure. So I think that was some really good coverage, I thought, with the AI representation coming down the stairs. I thought that was great. I haven't seen that on any other source that I've looked at.
Yeah, I just sort of I thought, man, it's getting pretty good at doing this stuff. So I said, why don't you make somebody that... First, it put a baseball cap on the guy. And then I said, well, now he had a balaclava. And I just wanted to see what it might look like. Are you still there?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Something got disconnected. I don't know. Maybe somebody else tried calling. Yeah, somebody.
I can still hear you.
Okay. Hey, if I'm already on the show, there's no hold button, so you don't need, just wait till the call's over and then we'll call in. Somebody's trying to dial in from somewhere.
That's good news. Tell them to keep trying.
Yeah, call in a little bit later.
Yep. I'll try. And hello to everyone in the chat. I don't know if you guys could hear me in the chat, but this is Jason Bourne. I know at least a few people know me as a regular pest, but
I don't think they think that.
So, Gray, I thought the work that you did was great, but I wanted to come back and circle around to some things that other people have said in the chat tonight, and maybe I feel a little bit differently, and to the point to where, my take on things is that when I think about the FBI, and the FBI had to vet those 2 letters, and to vet them, that meant that if they were not going to go to that family who was already in a great deal of trauma and put them through all this rigmarole Like, let's go on TV and let's make this public declaration and let's go through all these things and put the brother on there as well.
If they didn't think they were real.
And
yeah.
If they didn't think they were real, exactly.
Right.
You know, and so if I wanted to put myself above the FBI and say, like, well, I happen to know more than what the FBI does. I happen to know more than the case investigators who have seen the evidence. I know more than those people. Therefore, I can pretty much say that the FBI vetting him was wrong. Well, that doesn't ring true with me because I don't know more than the case investigators. So they vetted those letters in such a way that they had to have been certain enough to say, okay, we're going to go to the family. Now, does that mean that when they read the letters that there were certain contents in those letters that said, for example, we know that this thing in the house was placed this direction, or this particular object was here at the foot of the bed, or whatever it was, but they left certain identifiers. Right. And lo and behold, the FBI either went there, reviewed the video, and said, well, yeah, that is exactly what's being described. But whatever it wasn't something that they could say to themselves, well, you know, guys, we could be being duped here, and someone might be trying to fool us. Like, they must have went through those logic scenarios and concluded to the point that, okay, we're not being duped because this is checking out to the point to where everything is ringing, everything this person is saying in here is ringing true enough to the point we'll feel confident enough to go to the family. So, but it goes a step further, and let me make the argument even further. And that goes for everyone else who's listening to chat, because feel free to call in after this and rebut what I'm saying if you disagree. That goes for anyone. So, you know, it goes a step further in the sense that now it gets introduced to the family, and either A, they shared the letters with the family, or B, they didn't. But I believe Savannah said that she did read the physical, she read what was written. She read the verbatim words and sentences, the paragraphs. She read it all. My conclusion, what I heard anyway. And upon reading that, when asked if she thought that they were valid, that she said that she, yes, did believe that they were. And she is not someone who is just this lay person who isn't kind of like can't put dots together in terms of concluding about whether someone might be trying to ransom her mother. Like, you would think that she would have enough capability to make these conclusions that, okay, I think that this has legitimacy. And she has a long education behind her. She is an attorney. She finished at the top of her bar exam. She's no dummy. And so when the FBI came to her and they said, this is the evidence that we have, and she, in her own mind, being an attorney, could evaluate that evidence and say to herself, in her own mind, yes, I do concur. Yes, I do agree. And she could go right over to her family members and say the same thing. Do you agree with this? Is this blah, 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 blah? And they could say yes, too. And so, you know, I know that the other answer is to what people are going to say to this, and they're going to say, yeah, well, the reason why that it was so tight and it looked so convincing is because it was an inside job. It was the other two. It was Tommaso and it was Annie, right? And that's the rebuttal to that. And so I'm going to come out and say that, well, no, if we really have to trust the FBI and their investigative techniques, that they went over Annie and Tommaso with a fine-tooth comb. They went through months and months of digital footprints. Where were they? What did they do? Did their stories always check out? Was there any problems? And then when they hit them with a search warrant that was impromptu and not even probably signed and just said, hey, do we have your consent to go and search the place? That they said yes. And so they did go in there. And they went through all this stuff. They even kept the vehicle, and they downloaded all the data from the vehicle. You know, they could tell that when, okay, this passenger door unlocked, and it closed, and it opened. You know, the parking that was put in park.
They know all the stuff. Yeah, all the digital stuff, yeah.
Right. And so, I'm building my own case. Anyone else who's listening to this phone call, if they want to rebut what I'm saying, hop on afterwards and give a call, because in my opinion, like one of the central things that you were saying, Gray, is that you said, what we really need to know here is, were these first two letters legitimate?
Yeah, I think they were, because that's what FBI was saying. And then just recently, Savannah said she believes they're real, and that she would only believe that if they kept telling her, we still think those are real. Like if they told her, we don't think those are real, she would go, oh shit, okay. And then probably wouldn't talk about it much after that.
I mean, I know that somebody could say, like, well, okay, it could be wrong, and it could be staged, and it could be this, and it could be that. Okay, well, then what you really, if you want me to believe that, and want me to go down that road, what you're really asking me to believe is that somebody outsmarted the FBI. And the bigger the spider web gets, if somebody wants to say that there is one, like, oh, it was a group of 3, it was a group of 4. Well, the bigger it gets, the bigger the digital footprint. The bigger all those connections get, to where the more likely it is that someone be exposed, and especially if you got $1 million riding on the line. And yet nobody has come forward, not a peep from nobody, not a break, nothing. So if somebody wants to come and say, well, who did this? Who is behind this then? So if you're saying, Jason Bourne, that these ransom letters are true, well, then who did this? And, my theory is that when, I grew up in a family that carried guns, and I was taught how to carry guns. And by no means, unless you were completely comfortable with carrying a gun that was pointed at your crotch area, that you would not do that unless you were very comfortable. Now, there is a scenario that someone could say, well, the gun was never loaded, so he was comfortable pointing it in that direction. But where I'm going with this is that I believe that carry is demonstrative of someone who has learned that carry for a long time. They're comfortable with that carry. Mm-hmm. It could have been in any other position on their body, but for some reason, now someone could say, "Oh, it was just for show, so she could see it when he walked up to her."
Or it could have just been that they wanted to make sure that people thought they were right-handed. They could tell for certain,
Yeah, and again, that is all saying, like, I knew that someone was watching would see this in the footage, and so anybody that would see it.
He knew he was going to be on the footage from when he first went up to the door. He didn't know that there was no subscription, so he must have known for certain that he was going to be on the camera when he went to the door originally. And again, that's why the only reason he removed it is because a car was going to be parked out there. And drive by.
I don't know enough about the camera to know that if there is an indication on it of whether
there's a light that goes on. But he wouldn't know by looking at it to know that the subscription wasn't purchased unless he is somebody that is that intimate with the digital information inside the home. I mean, that would be pretty crazy. Yeah.
Well, if a person was going to go to that route. And so, I mean, it is a decent rebuttal. I'll give it that. But I will say this much, that another thing that would stand out to me, or does stand out to me, is that, so anybody who wants to say that, that was planned, that was something that was, staged, the approach, all of that. Okay, well then, what you're really saying is that you want me to believe that somebody was told to go over there under whatever premise they were told, and that they're going to expose their people distance, they're going to expose their height, they're going to expose their shoe size, and they're going to expose enough of their face that to a relative, such as a mother or father, that would be recognizable. And I mean, if you ask any mother or father if they had their son in a mask, and they could only see what was seen on that screen, and they could say, could you identify if that was your son? They'd say 100%. Because you've seen the face so many times. You know the shape of the eyes. So
yeah, I think this guy is wearing everything, every single item he has on is something he never wears, and he never wore before, so that nobody would look at him and go, oh, wow, I've seen that guy. So I think the balaclava, the sweatshirt, the shoes probably, every single thing he has on is something he doesn't wear, and nobody would recognize it. That's what a smart person would do, you know.
I agree with that. I agree. But the pupil distance is something that doesn't lie.
The what?
The pupil distance. So you could take that pupil distance with his eyes, and you could run it through prison records, and you could run it through DMV databases, and that in itself could, I mean, it could give you leads.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's like, it's you know, I mean, it's hard to tell because you'd have to have the exact distance that his face is from the camera to come up with the distance between the pupils. So I know there's a lot of people, like this one lady, she thinks it's this one individual that's already been mentioned in the case, and she sent me these overlay things with the picture, the balaclava, and the overlay. I think I showed him on the show one time, and she go back and forth, and she goes, "Look, this is exactly who this person is." All right, and so, but that guy hasn't been arrested yet. But she was so certain, and it was everything lined up perfectly. The pupils, even the nose, you know, the eyebrows, etc. So I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm sure they've tried whatever they're going to try with the eyes. They're not, you know, like the FBI is way ahead of anything that we're talking about. And I don't know. I just don't know if he's going to be in a database. And it's also night vision, so the eyes are blown out. You know, it's hard to tell.
Do you think that you would be confident in saying that, you know, if you had to say that it was 100 people, what percentage, if it was like 90% or 80%, if it was the parents and that was their son behind the mask, that they would recognize that person?
I don't think a parent would recognize anything in this. I mean, I understand, like, you might go, oh, I mean, a parent might go, that could be our kid. It's not like with, you know, in the, what the hell's his name? In the Tyler Robinson, where, you know, you see most of his face, and, you know, he's walking up the stairs, and he wears those same damn glasses and the hat all the time, so they can look at him. But this guy, he's, you know, I mean, he's almost like a generic human inside, you know, with a balaclava, etc. You know, I don't know. I don't know if a parent, they could recognize the eyes, but also when you look at it, you know, you're looking at the images. It's not like you're looking at a colored picture version of the eyes. So that one shot where they brightened up, it's kind of like right in, I don't know, somewhere around in here. I don't know if that one doesn't show it, but it's somewhere in here where you see his whole face. Maybe it's
right.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that. Yeah, that one. You know, so I mean,
chilling
it's on my screen. You're looking at that. I don't know if somebody would recognize their kid if that was him. You know.
Well, and I mean, that's a good rebuttal too, right? Because I might be under the premise of saying that I think that there would be a good chance that someone should have tried to collect this reward or should have pursued money because he was recognizable, when maybe the argument is that he's not all that recognizable. But I will say this much, that those eyes and the width of those eyes, to me, are very distinctive. Like that is a distinctive looking eyes. I just think that it's something that, I mean, some people have even associated it with certain types of ancestry because the eyes are so distinctive, you know. So, but regardless of that,
see, that's where I think when people start doing that, that's where we're getting way outside the sort of, you know,
ballpark.
Yeah, because it's it's such wild speculation to sit there and go, oh, look at his eyes. Oh, wow, look how far they're apart. And then, oh my God, that might be, he's a Slavic region, right? Because those guys, give me a break. I mean, Jesus. You know, I mean, it's not going to help either way, though. That's the, and what are we going to do? Because his eyes are a little bit farther apart, he could be Middle Eastern, perhaps even a little hint of, and now we're looking for somebody in that realm around, oh my God, this one guy, he's from there, and it's, you know, I mean, the FBI.
I mean, if they go,
go ahead.
If they go down to Mexico if they go down to Mexico or if they go into gun shops and they're turning in names that are Middle Eastern names, it does kind of make you think that the FBI is leaning in a certain direction.
Yeah. I don't remember if they did that. Did they do that? There was a bunch of names that they put out, wasn't there?
Right,
Early
and they were
on?
Middle Eastern names.
Yeah,
You
so
know?
the
So I
one
know
guy,
that-
the one lady, remember that I just told you that did the overlays? That's where he's from. That guy's a Middle Eastern name.
Ah, that's the person you were talking about. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting
Interesting.
when she would show, but she was, this, what I didn't like was she would say stuff like, oh, this is 100% the guy, you know. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
we don't, I mean, and then there was no debate, like in her mind. Everything you talked about, like she'd even mentioned the guy's name as being the guy standing there, like I would do with Tyler Robinson or somebody, and go, yeah, that's Tyler Robinson walking right there. Because I know it is. I mean, you see him, right? But to call this guy, let's say the guy's name was Jim Smith that she was talking about, then you go, now look at when Jim picks up the plant there. It's like, what do you mean? We don't know if this is Jim or not. Why do you keep calling him? You know what I mean? I mean, these are private
I get your point.
conversations we were having. Like we literally, her and I, she would call me, and we talk on the phone for 20 minutes or something. I mean, or 30, 40, you know, about her thoughts, you know. So I did listen to him, you know. It just, there's a certain point where you just go, yeah, I don't know, man. And I hope she's right, though. Man, that'd be amazing. She said that they called her. She turned in tips, and she told me they called her and things like that.
I think, you know, the one thing that's very interesting is a lot of people believe that it's somehow a local connection, and that if it is a local connection, I find it very interesting that the FBI, now maybe they do have leads, right, that we don't know about, and maybe they're getting close. Maybe we have no clue about that, you know, but the fact that if it is local and they're not really on to anything, that's kind of interesting, you know, because you'd think, I mean, it's not that big of a town, you know, over there. I mean, so I mean, I think that it would be that you could have some good coverage and some good opportunities to seek. I mean, when we talk about how the vehicle left, you know, and like, gosh, you think, oh, they have to have it on a camera somewhere, you know, but would they release that information? And so is that only things that they might know because they're looking for a certain vehicle?
Yeah,
blah, blah,
but
blah,
I thought it was
know?
weird how they just kept searching in the area using that Bluetooth sniffer thing that they had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so why were they still flying around right in that area? Because it's almost like they have, here's what I picture they have. They have their surveillance cameras. There's very few. And they have lights through the trees of a vehicle moving. And then maybe down the road again, they still see lights, maybe a little faint picture of a car. And then they can't keep tracking it. So they don't know if it even ever left the area in their own minds. Because there's nothing, like if they didn't have a cell phone on or anything like that, then they have no way of knowing any of that. Like if they, you know, if you can't keep tracking the car on camera, and then there's no cell phone data, then you don't know where the hell they went. I mean, that's just the reality right there.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, I know that I could continue on because you're very interesting to talk to, Gray, and you always have great ideas, and I think that the work you've done on the footage out there was just excellent tonight, and I look forward to more of that. And I did also want to apologize if I came on too strong to anyone in the chat, but I do want to say that, you know, call in and challenge the ideas.
Oh,
That's
you weren't too strong. I appreciate you calling in. You're always interesting. You well thought out thoughts. You know?
All right. Well, yeah, I look forward to hearing some more calls. That would be great. And thanks for taking my call, Gray.
Well, thank you. Have a good one.
Yep.
All right. Jason Bourne. The Jason Bourne. Yeah. All right, so who's calling in next? I think there was a call. Let's see what they said. Hold on. was weird. They said, who's Lynn? It said something about, I don't know, man. Do I play it or? Oops. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, there it is. Let's see.
All in. Now it's 9 o'clock. My show's on. This is Joy. Oh, well, you missed out.
I missed out. She said.
All in.
Oh, call in, she said. Not Lynn. Call in.
All in. Now it's 9 o'clock. My show's on. This is Joy.
Okay. Well, we missed out, Joy. We missed out. Thanks, though. Jesus. My God. There was already somebody on the phone. Did you not notice? Hey, thank you up there to J.D. White, who said, hey, Mr. Gray, great to catch you live. It's my daughter's senior year in high school, and her sports have come to an end. So now I have more time to hang out. It's always great to check in with you. There's no place like Mr. Gray's. All right, well, thank you. Good to have you back here. And by the way, you guys, if you could help support the channel tonight, that would be awesome. We're still only at 1/4 of the nightly goal, so we've had no challenges tonight. That would be great to have at least one of those. One would probably get us, nearing 40%. All right, so who's calling in next? No, but they say it's pretty there, but I've never been. But Daniel said it's the best place he's ever been. God, I miss Daniel. God, that was pretty good, man. You got to admit that was. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Yeah. You got to give me some credit. That was super chat worthy right there. Come on, man. All right, who's calling in next, you guys? Who's calling in next? Well, I guess since nobody's calling in, we'll go ahead and do the... I'm going to read the... It's always lame that you guys don't call in. It's so easy. Just dial the freaking number, call in. Nobody's going to argue with you. We'll just debate normally, discuss stuff, It just is what it is. All right, I'm going to look at this. Okay, right. Sure. But who's going to do a challenge for us tonight? We've had 0. On February 1st, 2026, Nancy, let's see what they have now on Wikipedia. They're always editing this thing. The American 80... Oh, wait, we got a call.
Call from
Lynn.
Oh, there
To
you go.
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Hello. What's going on?
Hi, it's Lynn.
What's going on, Lynn?
Yeah, I had a question.
Hey, by the way, you sent me that email. What did you want me to get out of that?
Oh, because he said he was 100% not involved.
Yeah.
Like Richard Allen had said.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, so she sent me an email of the guy that they pulled over daily, right? So just because he said he's 100% didn't do it doesn't mean what is he supposed to... What would make it more believable to you? If he'd said, listen, I'm 90% sure I didn't do it. That'd be hilarious, right? Hey, listen, I'm 90% sure I didn't do it. Well, then you'd go, well, crap, he did it, man. Did you hear that, everybody? He's only 90% sure. If he was somebody who didn't do it, he would have been 100% sure, right? But then when he says, I'm 100% certain I am 100% not the person who did this. Now it's, wow, who says that? That's pretty funny. All right, anyways, go ahead.
Well, the gun that was shown in the video, is that a 9mm gun? Do we know? Is that?
I don't know if anybody's really knows for certain.
Because Luke, he's a felon, and he was found with his 9mm gun in the car, and they still let him go. Wouldn't that be like evidence to keep him?
No, because a lot of people, 9mm are probably the most common gun that there is. And I don't know if that's what he has. Somebody might know what that is. But
it's illegal for him to have a gun, is what I'm saying.
Oh, he's a felon, yeah. Maybe he did get in trouble for that. But I'm just... but what makes you guys... are people really still, talking about how... Because I saw him being played on this other YouTuber's channel he does sensationalistic stuff, left and right. But he has that smooth talk, so it's just... Everybody accepts it. But it's like, why is that guy still being... that interview still being discussed today? It's like they ran out of material and they go, hey, let's go back to that Daily guy. What was he doing?
Well, he was 2 miles away.
Yeah.
And it seems like his mother dragged him to the interview.
Well, yeah. Would you want to do it? She's probably like, "Hey, listen, you gotta clear your name." And he's like, "I don't want to, Mom." Or how do you know that, by the way, that his mom had to drag him there? Like, where is that part?
Well, he wants his name cleared, but the cop, whoever he talked to, wouldn't clear him. He hasn't been cleared yet. And they looked through his vehicle and his house. So they're probably watching.
I mean, it doesn't... I don't know. I mean, how do we know he's not cleared? They just don't say anything. We don't know anything. Nanos doesn't say anything. I mean, just because he didn't come forward, how many people does he have to clear? These people, they never do this.
Yeah.
Law enforcement almost never clears people. I'm not even sure they've cleared with the word, we cleared Tommaso and Annie. They never said, oh, we cleared them. They just said, we don't believe that they're suspects, something like that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of unanswered questions that we don't know about. Like, they didn't even celebrate her birthday. You would think that.
Are you there?
Jim Long.
Oh, hold on.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hold on a second. I'm not sure what happened there. Shit. Are you still there? Hello? Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure what happened. I thought there was a thing that came in that said you could put somebody on hold, but it put you on hold, and then the other one... I don't know. It's screwed up. Go ahead.
Oh, you have another call? Well, I was just going to mention that it was her birthday on the 27th of January. And they didn't even say like we celebrated her birthday and, taking pictures or anything like that.
I know, but what does that mean? What does that mean to you, though, when you say who are you referring to?
Well, it seems like they all love their mom, and she went over.
I see people trashing on Savannah all the time. It's like, and Annie. I mean, I don't know. It's just like, what is it that they're doing that what are they not doing that they're supposed to be doing?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that who you're talking about, or are you talking about somebody else?
I don't know about the family because I don't really know them.
Oh, who are you referring to right now? Maybe I missed. Are you talking about them or?
Oh, I would have thought that they would have had like a birthday cake for her on that Saturday night, to celebrate her birthday.
What day?
That was January 27 was her birthday.
Mm. Well, how do we know that they didn't have a cake?
Oh, I guess we don't know. You're right.
Because that's before she
Yeah,
it was the first is when she got abducted. February.
February 1st.
So maybe they did have a birthday. Maybe they did have a cake on the 27th. So she just turned 84 just before that?
Yeah. Very close to the day that she disappeared. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they would give us more information, but they have to wait and see. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Well, what do you think happened here? Throw out your theory.
Well, there is one person that if someone did a profile of the person, of the suspect, like this person that I know of, he also was looking at a celebrity and also sent her flowers and but he was caught stealing like a $300,000 watch.
Who's that? Who's this?
Who?
Okay. This is just some random dude?
Yeah, and when one of the YouTubers talked to somebody in the area, the guy said, "Oh, that's so and so." He identified the person at the door of the video.
Yeah.
He's the only one that ever said, "Oh, that's so and so."
Yeah, right.
But,
and so the so and so that he said he was, who was the person he said he was? How did he know it?
He's a homeless guy, and he's well known in the area for selling
a homeless
drugs.
guy that has like a walkie-talkie in his pocket or something, and who was able to get into the. I don't know, man. I don't believe that at all. But what do you think happened in the case? Like what or you just kind of you don't know yet?
I think there may have been an assault, and he had to get rid of the DNA that was on her.
So that would be the sexual assault, and then got rid of the DNA, and he never. And so what would if it is real ransom letters? Then why did he do that?
Well, I don't believe the ransom letters because they gave two different dates. Is that the same ransom we're talking about?
Well, the very first two, those are the ones. So one was sent to a local news channel. Then I think I don't know. And then later the same one was maybe sent to TMZ, and then there was another letter that was sent to all those same people again from the same person with the same crypto account, and those two are the ones they thought were real.
Why would they put two different dates for a deadline? You would think it would be by Friday, and then that's it. No?
Well, maybe they were just trying to string them along a little bit. Because they couldn't prove it, and I don't know. It's a strange thing.
Yeah, but I just feel it's not likely a ransom because of her age, 84 years old. You would think they would do that to a younger person, not an older person,
Well, except that you would abduct somebody that happens to be the mother of, she was easy to do. Like, for example, Savannah's children, they're, you know, in New York. They are, you know, probably have, it'd be hard to abduct them. But you have this mother of Savannah who lives alone, isolated. It was apparently pretty easy for them. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's why they picked her. If that's, you know, if that's what the motive is. If it was really to try to get a ransom from Savannah and then it went wrong and then there was a couple first ransom notes. But what throws everything off, I tell you what, if they had only sent those to local news stations or just the family themselves, I would lean more towards it only being a ransom that went wrong. But the fact that they sent one to TMZ shows sort of a different, you know, different, makes it a different scenario where they wanted everybody to see it. And then that's where you jump in with the, man, is this just some crazy person who literally abducted her just to, you know, as a, like I said before, an arsonist, you know, burns a house down. And then he shows up and watches it burn. And then he reads about the articles in the paper. And he's like, man, I did that.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So is that what this guy is? Did he go? Because look how perfect this works in that scenario. He goes to the house to abduct Nancy Guthrie. He abducts her. He's going to kill her. He doesn't really, there's no ransom that was ever part of anything. He's going to kill her, and then he's going to pretend it was a ransom, and then let everybody know and tell, you know, like, hey, it's a you know, it sends these letters off, and then he gets a thrill out of seeing everybody talking about it. And every day having Harvey up there reading the whole damn thing, you know. You see, and that's what he was getting off on. But then eventually they probably went, you know what? If I keep sending these, they may be trying to figure out how they could track me. And then they just completely wipe their hands of it and they're gone. And maybe they'll do something similar another time. I think that one actually, that theory makes sense because everything works in that one.
Yeah, it does work.
Isn't that weird? All right. Well, cool.
Yeah, it was hard to determine if it was believable or not. But the way you said it makes it sound believable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's the only theory, though, that actually every single element makes sense. The rest of them, there's always something that makes you go, ooh, yeah, I don't know, because of this, because of that, you know, burglary goes wrong. Well, why the hell did they remove her? Oh, a sexual assault that went wrong. You know, a sexual assault maybe didn't go wrong, but they took her out of the house. Okay, that makes sense. Well, okay, then why'd you send the ransom notes? Well, the ransom notes aren't real. Oh, wow, okay. You know, there's just too much there. But when you go with the story that the guy is a nut job who just knew that because of her being the famous mother of Savannah Guthrie, that it would be this huge story, and they could sit back and sort of revel in the fact that they got away with it, and everybody's talking about it. And even to this day, they probably pull open the Daily Mail and go, look at that, another article on, you know, something like that. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, wouldn't they have sent them the ransom money? But they were still not sure if it was true or not.
Nah, well, they didn't send it because there was no proof of life. I mean, you're not going to send millions of dollars without proof, you know.
Oh, the proof of life.
That's and that's when, because proof of life was never given, that's when Savannah had her Instagram where she said, you know, the whole one that I knew at that point, they said, we understand now, meaning we understand that our mom's not alive anymore. We want to, then it was, we want her body back so that we can celebrate her life with her. And That's the only way that we'll have peace, is by having her body back. And we're willing to pay you to tell us where her body is. And then they never heard back, I don't think, after that one.
Yeah, what would they do with her body all this time?
Well, I think they probably just buried it some, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody during the summer stumbles upon her somewhere. You know.
There was one heat source in that area. It was on a show. I don't know if I can say her name, but it starts with Nancy. And they, if you watch one of her shows, she shows the exact area. And what happened was they never even searched it. I have no idea why not. When they were out there trying to get heat sources.
Yeah,
I would have to find the video and send it to you, and I can tell you where to look.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. You know, here's the truth.
Yeah.
My channel, we think through things better than any of the other channels. Okay, so if you just show up here and we're talking about this, you'll have a much more rational sort of understanding of a case instead of these crazy, long, drawn out, theories.
Oh,
that people
you don't know.
What's that?
That heat source might not be correct.
Yeah, who the hell knows what that is? You know, I mean, what heat source?
Yeah.
There's never been a heat source mentioned in the case. So if somebody's just bringing it up, then, I mean, I don't know. Where do you think they're coming up with this heat source all of a sudden?
Well, it came from the doctor. I can't remember the name right now. But it was the same doctor that you talked to about the blood, where it's aspirated. You know that guy's name? Expirated?
Did I talk
to the same guy?
I don't remember talking to anybody, but
texting or messaging or email.
Oh yeah, well, I might have. Well, there was a guy. I think I played some interviews.
Body bags.
Oh, you're talking about Joseph Scott Morgan.
Yeah, he's the one that mentioned it.
A heat signature? Where?
Heat source on land.
Well, he might have just been conjecturing, like, yeah, so they may, had they, I think that's what they were talking about, was something like, had Sheriff Nanos deployed the resources he should have at the time, they may have seen a heat source of Nancy's somewhere, but it took them too long and they can't. Isn't that what he was really saying?
Yeah.
Right. So it's just may have seen.
It was, yeah, and it was too late to go and look for it. Yeah.
Right. So there might have been a heat source that you could have. Yeah. Right. Like it could have been something that you could have found had they got out earlier, but they didn't. So yeah, there you go.
Yes. That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
Well, there you go. There you go. See.
All right.
Well, thanks, Lynn, for calling in.
I wanted to call anyways. Yeah, and I hope
it was like the old days. Remember?
Yeah. All right.
She called during a hurricane one time, you guys. She was up in a building during a hurricane. That was awesome. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let you go.
All right. See ya.
Okay. Somebody call in.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. All right, guys. Any chance somebody could do a challenge out there? That would be awesome. Just somebody. Some soul out there. Hey, Jim, you called when there was somebody on the phone. I think it sounds pretty good, don't you guys? I mean, the quality, it's not bad. Yeah. Yeah, right now, you guys, we're only at 1/4 of the nightly goal. Or maybe 30%. Not even that. Like, like 27 or something. Man, unreal. Yeah, it's pretty clear. Yeah, these are images I was using, but then I made these, like, I think this is what he was doing. Like, this is how he got her out of there. Just, I think he could have easily done this on his own, you know?
Call from.
Jim Lon.
To accept, press.
Hello, Jim Lon.
What's up, Gray? How are you, bud?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, just I don't really have anything to say about this case. It's just so weird. But I just wanted to say hi to the freaks and everybody.
Well, there you go.
Just want to let you know that you're doing a good job. Love the show.
Well, thank you. I could do better. I could do better. I know. One of these days, I'll get it all figured out. I'm trying, though. You know, it's just so weird.
Yeah.
It seems like every night there's some sort of hiccup, though, you know. Somebody, I don't know. It's just strange. Don't know.
No, I mean, it seems like the last couple of days have been pretty good. I mean, we had a dust up last week, but, you know, that's my fault.
Yeah, it's okay.
But, there's something I was trying to think.
Are you going to tell us about?
I just.
Go ahead. Your roommate.
Oh yeah. That's all. That's just all just fake in the chat. You know, I just like to bust balls.
Yeah.
But what was it in there? Oh, I was at the pool today, and I took a picture. I saw an awesome gecko. It was probably like the size of like your index finger.
Yeah.
But it had a red head and a white back. I've never seen one like that, because usually they're usually either like orangish, they're greenish.
Wow, that was
whatever,
probably pretty dangerous for that gecko. He spotted sticks out like a sore thumb to a predator.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. So I was trying. Yeah, but my phone is jammed up for. I don't know why my email's not working, but I'll send you a picture of it. You can send it to the freaks or show it. But yeah, very cool. Because, you know, I love all this.
Hey, did you ever hear the evolution incidents where, I guess it was in England, I guess, there was these, I think I've told it before years ago on here, but there was in England there was a moth, it was sort of similar to what you just said, but like there was these moths that were cream colored, these moths, and they would land on these trees. And they kind of mimicked the color of the trees, so they looked similar. So, birds wouldn't see them, right? But every once in a while, you know how you have like one's born that's black or something, you know, or dark brown or something. So the birds would easily see them and spot them, the black ones and the brown ones. But the ones that were the right color of the tree, those ones lived, right? But
like camouflage, yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was they started the Industrial Revolution, and then soot got in the air and it covered the trees that made them almost black, you know, like really dark. So those same cream colored moths stuck out like a sore thumb to the birds, and the birds just wiped them out, the cream colored ones. However, those very few black ones, the dark ones that were born, they lived because the birds couldn't see them now. And then over time, all the moths turned that darker color, charcoal or black. See, that's sort of a small version of how, like, evolution worked. You know, sort of like that. They all became that color. And then even after, I guess if you somehow stop so what would happen is if you just somehow stop the coal mine, you know, the coal-powered plants and whatnot, then the trees would be cream again after the rains and everything. Then all the black ones would be eaten, and their random, rare, cream-colored offspring would then go back into being the main ones. It's pretty crazy stuff. I like that.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's fascinating. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
but that's sort of like your gecko, man. It probably stuck out like a. You probably It's like a big.
Yeah, it's so rare. Yeah, because I'm always looking at the ground at them. So like, well, I'll send you the picture. But interesting. I was watching this thing on YouTube the other day about crows.
Mm-hmm.
They're very smart birds. They have like memory, like almost like a human being.
No, I've talked about crows on the show. Like, crows are freaky. They're scary. Actually,
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
They actually said that their reasoning is better than chimps, which is absolutely crazy. Like, it's like, really? Wow.
They almost have like the brain of a human being. Yeah, like they like.
Yeah, well, the ones that
the
ones I've told before are like, one time I was driving down the street and I saw a crow walk out, put a nut on the ground, and then walk off the road. And then I thought, man, that's crazy. He's waiting for a car to run over the nut so he can eat the stuff inside, right? And I thought, man,
he's up to something.
I go, that's some crazy. So, and then I stopped and I got out of the car and I watched, and that's exactly what he was doing. But here's the cool part: is he didn't move the nut into the middle of the road like you would just randomly do. He put it right where the tires go. So that's like,
they're smart as shit. Yeah. Well, do you know the difference between a crow and a raven?
No.
They're like the same kind of species, but like crows are like city birds, and they'll fly around like with 2 or 3, together. But a raven is a bird that's out in the woods, just on his own, like a lone wolf.
They probably have the same brains, I would think.
Yeah, same brain. Yeah, just like I guess there's some different DNA.
You know, the other weird one that I tell about the crows, you can go watch it on YouTube. It's crazy. I've told it before on the show, but maybe some other people haven't heard it. It's they did this experiment where they had a beaker, and inside the beaker was a little tiny bucket, like a really small one that fits in there with a handle on it. And then they put a mealworm inside the bucket, inside the beaker. So then the crow came up, and they provided the crow with a little straight wire. And the crow picked it up, and he put the wire in there, and he tried to poke the mealworm, which, wow, that's kind of smart, like he was trying to get the mealworm with the stick, and that didn't work for him. So what he did was he took the wire, and he put it on the side of the beaker where there's this little peg that stuck out, and he bent the wire into a hook. And then he went and put it in the beaker, and then he pulled the bucket out, and then he ate it.
Shit.
That's actually
they're smart.
That's actually ludicrous. Like a child wouldn't know how to do that. Like how it would reason through that is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and a little bird brain. Yeah, no, like. And fish are smart too. Like they know how to get away. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, not with Wild Bill Wassman around. He
Wild Bill knows. Yeah.
he nails those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what? Okay, last thing I'll say is I was watching this thing on YouTube about dolphins. I guess dolphins, they speak to each other, with the. Whatever they call it, like the not squawking or whatever, like the echoing or whatever, like the sonic stuff. But I guess dolphins around the globe, they have like different accents or like different languages, which I thought is fascinating. I just found out about this the other day. So it'd be like one guy speaking German, one guy speaking Spanish, one guy speaking English.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what the hell they're talking about. Dolphins.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
All right, Gray. Well, hey, man, I'll let you get to the next call. It's kind of, off subject stuff, but it's always fun to talk to you about.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling in.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you. Yep. All right, guys. Any chance you guys can help support the channel? One sort of push here. We got to get... We're only at 1/4 of the nightly goal currently. And I don't know that the show was deserving of... I thought it was a pretty good show. Maybe it's just in my own mind, I guess. But tomorrow we'll probably do a different one. Maybe talk about the number of perps or something and go through the whole thing. But let me just go through this Wikipedia again. I think I'm just going to not take any more calls. But can you guys please help support the channel? Thank you. It means it's a huge deal for us to keep going forward. Man, it's getting scary out there. On February 1st, 2026, Nancy Guthrie, the American 84-year-old mother of NBC News journalist and today's... What does it sound like if I hit this?
Disappearance of Nancy Guthrie.
Maybe I'll get
On February 1st, 2026, Nancy Guthrie, nee Long, the American 84-year-old mother of NBC News journalist and Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie, was kidnapped from her home in Catalina Foothills, a suburb of Tucson, Arizona. Evidence recovered at the residence indicated that Guthrie had been taken against her will, and Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos stated that he believed she had been abducted.
Let's see. Maybe I'll just start the show off tomorrow with this. Forget it. All right, you guys. Thank you. Let's see. We've got the... I got to get out. I don't know. My viewer activity's not updating, so I'm not sure. Let me try to hit the... maybe it needs... No? Oh, there we go. So thanks Wild Bill Lossman, Jim Lawn, Alley Cake, Jeffrey Siddall, Michelle H., Jim Lawn, Alley Cake, Songbird, Jim Lawn, Joy Perry, Randizzle Randy, and then JD White. And that $20 super chat was 4 times the highest one prior. So this is just one of those nights, I guess, huh? I got it. I'm going to go. All right, thanks. Then we have Carol Silva, Wild Bill Lossman, and Whaley Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. Who the hell knows? Thank you, JD White.